Rotarians, welcome downtown to the Tucson Convention Center. Whether you're joining us in person or whether you're joining us virtually, please join us. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence. As we know, the war in Ukraine is continuing to accelerate. A lot of brutality there against ordinary citizens, just very sad. I'd just like to take a moment of silence in recognition of those that are fighting for democracy. Thank you. Also like to welcome Mike Schulte back with Tucson. I think you know that they ended up going to Ukraine to rescue his father-in-law, and they're now back safely in the States and trying to figure out what's going to be the next stage of life for them. I also want to just thank the 29 members that stepped up with our Ukraine matching grant. As you know, we got $15,000 from the Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation, and we sent to them just shy of $34,000. So a big round of applause to yourselves. Now for the pledge and song, I'd like to invite up Bob Schaff, who joined our club in April of '92, classification consulting, marketing, customers for life consulting. He's a U of A grad, and he was our club's 85th president back in '03 and '04. Bob.
My gosh.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. The Pledge of Allegiance to our country and to our flag. And to borrow a phrase that past President Chuck Sawyer made during his presidency, there's probably a few things you don't know about the pledge, and I'd like to remind us all of them. The Pledge of Allegiance was adopted by Congress in June 22nd, 1942. The words "under God" were adopted by Congress on Flag Day, June 14th, 1954. And during that time, a flag code was established that states during the recital of the pledge, all should stand at attention, face the flag, with their right hand over their heart, and specifies that any future changes to the pledge must have the consent and approval of the President. Please join me in reciting our Pledge of Allegiance, one sentence, 31 words. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now our patriotic song.
I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry. You're going to be singing America the Beautiful with Chris Dodge accompanying you on Jen, the piano.
Fantastic. You ready? Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Well done, Rotary Club of Tucson.
Thank you. Please be seated. We'll do the inspiration next. I'm going to invite up Kim Adair, who told me I shouldn't read any of this stuff, but I'm going to do it anyway. She joined our club in March of '21. Her classification is Community and Social Services. She's with the Arizona Bowl. She's their CEO, and she is a proud graduate of NAU. Kim.
As I was thinking about our keynote speaker today, I immediately thought about the impact college has on the bright minds of the students. But let us also be reminded that the University of Arizona impacts more than the lives of its students. We're so fortunate to have the U of A as an anchor in this community. I think we often take for granted the incredible work and benefits that are provided by having this institution so present in our lives. With a $4 billion annual economic impact to our community, it is fair to say that Tucson would not be the city it is today without the university. It is an exaggeration to say that in many ways the university is the glue that holds this community together. It unifies us together through sport. It kept us healthier, as evidenced by their COVID testing, research, and vaccination initiatives. It creates new businesses through its innovation. It supplies us a workforce with its students and generates high-paying jobs for our neighbors. There is no better feeling, trust me, this happens to me all the time, and there's no better feeling than wearing a U of A shirt outside of Tucson and having someone pass by you and say, "Bear down." I love doing that. I actually do that a lot at Disneyland. I'll wear the U of A and then I'll walk by and I'll say, "Bear down." We are so lucky to be entwined with this place that not only generates passion inside and outside of the classroom, but also is a beacon for our great community. So today, for this inspirational, please join me in saluting the University of Arizona and all of the ways it brings prosperity to this great community. Thank you.
Thank you. Please enjoy your lunch. We'll be back in about 15 minutes with Dr. Robbins as our keynote speaker. So it's that time where we need to introduce our guests and visitors. I'm going to ask our pal and our sergeant-at-arms to swing up here. I think everybody knows Chris Dodge. He joined our club in February of 20. His classification is entertainment music. Chris Dodge Entertainment, proud graduate of the University of Arizona. And he's going to tell us all about our visiting guests and Rotarians.
Why, thank you. My sister used to say, like, hey, what are you going to do with a music degree? Well, I got one from the U of A, and I figured out how to contribute positively to our community, so it's a good thing. And speaking of positive contributors to our community, I'm going to introduce our guests. Please stand up, wave, and we'll say hello to you. Guest of Mark Irvin, say hello to Monica Lane. Hi, Monica. And guest of Chuck Sawyer, say hello to Lisa Nutt. And Tom Eve. Hi, Tom. And guest of Michelle Murphy, say hello to Elaine Philippe Durand. See, they tried. They tried really hard. Guest of Bruce Tons, say hello to Art Adams. There he is. Guest of John Wong, say hello to Noreen Wong. Hi, Noreen. Guest of Monty Clausen, say hello to Joni Clausen. Hi, Joni. Guest of Gary Franks, say hello to Nick Franks. Guest of Brett Stein, Juan Ibarra. Guest of Sharon Felton and a scholarship student, Elisa Navarro. Hi, Lisa. Guest of Joe Pennington, Mickey Pennington. Hi, Mickey. Guest of Gary Hirsch, David Taylor. Hey, David. Guest of Jim, oh, I'm going to say your name wrong, Rubianis, I know it's close. Say hello to Paul Bojan. Hi, Paul. And guest of Vic Jacobs, Nancy Farber. Hi, Nancy. And guest of Danielle Balier. Say hello to Sandra Soliel. Hi, Sandra. And guest of Wes Wiggins, say hello to another Sandra Johnson. And guest of Steve Pickering, Sean Murray. Hi, Sean. And guest of Bob Logan, BJ Bajellan. And guest of Bruce Jacobs, Jerry Spaniel. Hi, Jerry. Guest. And if we could we have the table here from UA Venture Capital stand up so we can welcome you all? Say hello to our guest from UA Venture Capital. Couple more. Guest of Diana Cannon. Say hello to Allison Tofel. Hi, Allison. Guest of Nina Trasoff. Say hello to Brenda Baca. And a guest of mine, say hello to Cheetah Stevenson, wherever you are. Hello. And I think that's all I have. Take it away.
Thanks, Chris. So you probably saw a little video, a little photo up here of everybody wearing their Rotary pins and smiling. So for those of you that are up there and have got your Rotary pins on or smiling, great. Most of those folks wear those pins daily. For the rest of you that aren't doing that, see Dreen or Carrie. They have a pin for you. So we're really fortunate today to have honorary member Fletcher McCusker as our program sponsor today. He and Dr. Robbins have become very good friends, and he'll introduce his table of guests, many of whom I've had the privilege to know. And I don't think we need to say a whole lot about Fletcher. I think everybody understands who Fletcher McCusker is and what he's done and what he continues to do. Without further ado, my pal Fletcher McCusker.
Thank you, President Irvin. 2 more months. Just saying. You got it. It took a while, but you got it. It dawned on me that of the dozen or so times I've presented here, I've never actually talked about my real job. I think most of it has been around Rio Nuevo and what colleagues like Mark and I have been able to do downtown. You're a big part of that. But my vocation is UA Venture Capital. My partner, Michael Deitch, say hey, and I have been together for 26 years. We launched Providence together in downtown Tucson, became a public company. And of course, I think most of you know the Sinfonia story. Right around the time Bobby came to Tucson, we decided to create a venture capital firm that invested exclusively into University of Arizona technology. We've invested right at $35 million into about a dozen U of A related companies. If you go to our website, uaventurecapital.com, you can follow our portfolio. Moreover, some of our faculty partners are here today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their company. My other guest, Dre Thompson, used to work for me at Startup Tucson. She now is the new director of Tucson's IDA. And there's a lot of connectivity, we believe, between what's happening downtown, what's happening at the university, what's happening in venture capital, and what's happening in innovation at the University of Arizona. So we've been honored to invest in some world-changing technologies. I'm going to let, we can have to do it briefly, which is challenging for this group. Starting Nasser with you, if you'll introduce yourself and just briefly the company that we've invested with. I think this group would be fascinated to see what's going on in and around campus. Thank you.
Thank you, pleasure. Happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation. Pleasure founded three of my companies. I'm a professor at the College of Optical Sciences. I've been here in Tucson since 1982. For the last 40 years, I've been a faculty here. So in 2019, Fletcher founded three companies. One of the companies is in the area of what's called countermeasure. You know that with the war in Ukraine and the big ship, the Russian ship that was sank, if it had our technology, it wouldn't have had the missile attack it. So this technology, we have laser that is focused on the missile coming through and dazzles the missile and it goes into different direction. So this technology was generated and started and created at the university with funding from the Navy, and we have a startup that we funded to make it commercialized. So we're working with the government to actually put this product not on the market, but the government hand. The second company is based on revolutionizing ophthalmology in terms of you want to go and get your prescription, you have to go through half an hour of is this better or that better. We put all of that aside and you go there, sit, look at our product, and you, in seconds we have your prescription. You don't have to get any feedback from you if it is better or not. You get the objective result right away. And this is already, again, this technology was created at the university and is now being commercialized. And the third company is based on augmented reality, and we are building that for the future. That's going to be as big as the cell phones that you have right now. So that's pretty much it.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hamid Sadatmanesh, and I'm a professor of structural engineering. And Fletcher and Michael, they have been kind enough to help us, advance our technology. And I have funded two companies with Fletcher. One company has to do with infrastructure rehabilitation, which is, of course, one of the primary needs of the country at this time. And we are primarily using advanced technology using carbon fiber, for that purpose, which is used basically in advanced aircrafts, stealth bombers and everything. We use the same technology for breach rehabilitation. And we have right now, actually, the company was founded about 2 years ago, but right now we are negotiating almost like $12 million worth of projects, that we will soon start. And one of them is at Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel, which is, if any of you know, is one of the largest bridges in the world. And they're using our technology right now. We're doing a number of demo construction for them this summer, as well as, several other projects that we are looking for, primarily for infrastructure rehabilitation at a very cost-effective and more advanced technology that is currently used. The second company is called Medicarbon, and again we are using carbon fiber technology, but for orthopedic fracture fixation. So essentially, and that's the interesting part of it, what we are using for bridge rehabilitation and strengthening, we are using exact same technology for bone fracture. So as bone supports our body, the same way, a bridge pier supports a bridge. So the same at the miniature level, we are using the same technology, which is progressing very good, and using again the primary carbon fiber technology for human body rehabilitation. So it's all rehabilitation. Thank you.
Fletcher, Rotary Club of Tucson. Pleasure to be with all of you today. My name is Alex Rodriguez. I'm CEO of a company called Freefall 5G. Most of you have a cell phone. Some of you says 5G on it. That means 5th generation wireless standards. And we're working to fix the problem with your current cell phone not really having full access to 5G. Now listen to this. The global economy will have a $13 trillion positive impact over the next decade when achieving the full promise of 5th generation wireless. Our technology at Freefall 5G is an antenna system that operates more like a base station, bringing in millimeter wave, which is it's the highest bandwidth of the 5G rollout. Very, very significant to the wireless sector globally. What we will do once we have that ubiquitously available is enable other technologies from IoT to smart cities, robotic manufacturing and autonomous vehicles, etc. So it's a big problem to go resolve, and we're honored to be a part of the portfolio and to be with you today. And by the way, the next presenter, we are a sister company where the technology and ideation for the Freestar solution was born. And that is with Doug Stetson from Freefall Aerospace. Doug?
Thanks, Alex, and thanks for the opportunity to be here. Our company is Freefall Aerospace. As Alex mentioned, we're developing antenna technology for spacecraft and ground stations. And a couple of years ago, with help from Michael and Fletcher, we spun off Freefall 5G as a separate company. But at Freefall Aerospace, we are building a unique antenna system for small spacecraft. And as a matter of fact, we'll have a major milestone in just a couple months, the launch of a project we call CatSat. It's a collaboration between our little company, the university, and Rincon Research here in town. So it's really an all-Tucson spaceflight, now scheduled for launch in August of this year on a NASA-funded launch. So that's going to be very exciting. That'll be the first validation in space of our antenna technology. On the ground station side, just as of this morning, we are moved forward with a major deal with 2 large international communications companies to deploy our antenna technology all throughout India, starting next year, and then moving on from there. So on both space and ground, with the systems that were developed primarily at the university, we're really moving forward, I think, to revolutionize global communications. And that's our story. So thanks a lot.
Hello, my name is Mahmoud Falahi. I'm a faculty at the College of Optical Sciences, University of Arizona. And together with my colleague, Chris Hesenius, we have co-founded 2 companies, DUV Photonics, See-Through Lasers, and Wavelengths Unlimited. And they are funded by UABC, Fletcher and Michael, and we are very grateful for that. And basically, let me tell you what our goals are. As you know, lasers are widely used in many applications. However, the lasers that are commercially available, they are basically providing specific characteristics at specific wavelengths, and they are not able to tune or hit the characteristics that a lot of the manufacturers in defense, medical, or some other communication fields are needing. So our technology that is patented allows to generate the wavelengths that are requested by the customers. So we can have any wavelength in the range from deep UV to infrared range with all the characteristics that are going to be suitable for those applications.
Mahmoud, we need to move you along so so we can get to President Robbins. Go to our website. Shiva, can you do this in 20 seconds?
Hi everyone, thank you so much for the invitation. My name is Shiva Planjari. I'm the co-founder and CEO of CodeLucida. We develop error correction technology, which is critical for data storage. Think of automotive, self-driving cars, all the way to cloud storage. We were founded based on research at the U of A. I'm a former PhD graduate, and thanks to the support of the community and thanks to Fletcher's investment, I did not move to California like the rest of my stayed in Tucson. And we're developing this cutting-edge technology and gaining traction globally. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is about half of what we've invested with. We're really honored to be associated with this. As you can see, we're taking U of A research off of campus into commercial applications. That's the story of UAVC. Thank you very much.
Fletcher, thanks for sponsoring, and so good to see so many faces and friends here that I know. Now you guys know when I say I get a front row seat to brilliance hanging out with Fletcher. That's what I'm talking about. So into the lunch program. So we'd like to welcome Bobby Robbins, Dr. Robbins here with us. His last visit was back in March of 18, and I know he was recognized with the Paul Harris Fellowship back then, and I did some research on it, and I found out that that came from our own member, Don Rollins. So I reached out today to Don and asked Don about the Paul Harris Fellow, and I thought Don said this so clearly, and I shared this with Dr. Robbins. The university and the president is at the forefront of everything that happens in our community, whether it's economic development, it's leadership, you name it, it's there. There's nothing better than having somebody in that realm who's also a Paul Harris Fellow. If you would now please turn your attention to the big screens. We've got a little video introduction that was done by our buddies Rick Rose. We substituted Matt Russell for some guy that I think you'll recognize. Switcher Studio, please roll that video.
On behalf of UA Venture Capital and our innovation partners at the University of Arizona, it's my honor to introduce President Robert Robbins, Bobby as he prefers to be called. Bobby's had a storied, unbelievable career. I can tell you for sure he's not tired. He's the hardest working person I know. I think most people know Bobby came to us from the Texas Medical Center, where he presided over the largest healthcare facility in the world, some 10 million patient visits a year. Bobby once told me that his biggest problem was parking 125,000 cars a day. Why he applied for our presidency, maybe he'll tell you today, but thank God that he did. From 2005 to 2017, this university had 5 presidents. It's been a remarkable 5 years. The university has advanced in every measurement. We're now top 20 in research in the world. We're a top patent producing university now. Universities around the world now look to us for innovation and entrepreneurial expertise, in large part due to Bobby's vision and skill set. 2 years ago, COVID. Thank God for Bobby Robbins to preside over this university during our most stressful time. He teamed up with Dr. Richard Carmona not only to keep the university open, but to keep the university safe. This university pioneered wastewater testing to be able to determine if any of our student housing complexes had any trace of COVID, and set an example for universities around the world. It's an honor for me to be a friend. It's an honor for me to introduce Bobby Robbins. Please give a heartfelt Rotary welcome to President Bobby Robbins.
All right, good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Fletcher, for that those kind words in this introduction. I think I must go straight to questions because everything I wanted to say has been said. I mean, you see this table. We're going from missiles and bridges and eyes and bones all the way around the table there. That's pretty remarkable. And tonight I get to go and there's an endowed chair for Mr. Brown at the College of Optical Science, and obviously it's the Wyant College of Optical Sciences, and Dr. Wyant is, you know, he took a little time away from the university, founded a couple of companies, came back in the university. So thank you for all that you do every day. And I get in trouble because I'm incredibly mesmerized by the College of Optical Science, and I get in trouble when if I ever say it's my favorite college because they do so many incredible things. But I'm going to say you tried to welcome him earlier. I'm going to give you another chance. Is Dean A.P. Duran from the Humanities, and he's here as a guest today. And there's these flyers on your table. I would encourage you to take one and look at it. And if you can't come to the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. next Tuesday, you can tune in and live stream to, I think this is the inaugural segment of Fearless Inquiries, sponsored a series of discussions sponsored by our College of Humanities, and AP is the fearless leader and dean of that incredible college, and it's a great lineup. Bill Crystal and many others. So, AP, thanks for being here, and thanks for bringing these flyers so everyone can tune in. The only other thing I would say, well, there are a couple of things that caught my mind. You know, I didn't know all that about, because I was born in 1957. You can do the math. I'm getting old. But I didn't know that, you know, the iterations of when the pledge started. And I immediately thought of, well, what if you see somebody doing this? There's a condition known as dextrocardia where you're born with your heart on the right side. Does that count? Can they use their left hand to cover their heart? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I saw polio, and I thought we had eradicated polio, but in Fletcher's comments, you know, Ian Pepper, Dr. Pepper at the university. Dr. Pepper is so misunderstood. I want to be his agent because I think we can get him a commercial with Dr. Pepper. But he's been, for 25 years, he's been looking at wastewater to try to detect polio. And when COVID happened, he said, I think I can be of some help. And he's at the West Water Facility. And I would say, I was talking to someone a couple of days ago, and we were talking about Stanford. And I said, yeah, Stanford. Oh, I know. Somebody was talking to me about branding of the D.C. Center that AP will have another event at while we're in D.C. But what do you want to do with that D.C. Center? And we got to talking about Stanford because the woman interviewing me lived right down the street from Stanford. And I said, well, I can tell you one thing. Stanford's a great university. It's good at many things. But I don't know anything that it's number one in. We are absolutely, hands down, flat out, number one in water resources in the world at the University of Arizona. That we are number one in. We're also, I would say we're number one in optical science. I'm not sure if there are enough optical science colleges, but we are definitely the best in leading the edge there. Usually it's inside engineering, but many people had the good foresight to break it out and have a college. So we derive immense benefit from having a college of optical sciences. We're also number one in astronomy. It's not even close, nationally. And we have the number one university-based dance program in the country. So we cover all the waterfronts, and just another thing to brag about. But polio, what an incredible cause. And now I'm going to drift into what I'm supposed to be here talking about. When does my time end?
You just go.
Yeah, but I want questions, you know, because what I've got to say, you've heard it all. But the polio thing, you know, I can remember getting in line, my grandmother said, get on your bike and go down to the health department and go take a sugar cube. Nobody questioned that. I just got on my bike, went down, took a sugar cube. So I don't know where all this stuff came from, but we are where we are right now in terms of vaccination and the pandemic, and I'll say a few more words about it. But polio still out there, and it's a worthy cause. So I'm going to run through just a brief slideshow, and I really do hope that you've got questions about anything, not necessarily what I speak about today, but anything you want to talk about, including sports and other things, because I don't think I have any slides on sports. But this slide just shows you some of the statistics, and I don't know if we provide you with these slides. I think, okay, so you have them. You can do whatever you want to with them. You can give them to all the members, and you can go home and look through them and call me up if you think I got a number wrong here or there. But this is really, when I got here, we did a strategic planning process, and these are the 5 pillars of our strategic plan and some statistics about where we are in each one of them. Fletcher hit on this. We're a top 50 public university in the United States. When I got here, one of the things, I caught a lot of grief, primarily from the faculty, about who cares about rankings? We don't care about rankings. Why are you talking about rankings? I said, because you may not care about them, but everybody else cares about them, and therefore I care about them. And so I said, you know, we're going to be a top 100 overall university by U.S. News and World Report, and we're going to be a top 50. And if I don't achieve that in 5 years, I'm going to resign because I will have been a failure. So luckily, we just got under the wire, and we, I think, got to be like 45th or 6th public, and I think our highest ranking was in the 90s, 97. And we'll continue to get better, but we're clearly, for research, the thing that makes the University of Arizona special. There are many things, but one of the things is research. And I am so appreciative that Fletcher actually listened to me. Fletcher, you're one of the few people who's ever listened to me. We were talking about you're the boss of your dogs. They listen to you, but not many people listen to me, certainly not at the university. But you listen. And I said, the thing that's going to be a game changer for this community, and one of the things that we tried to do in Houston, you would think Houston, you would have, it's the largest medical center in the world, by far. It's 168,000 cars go in and out every day. This place is tremendous. It's MD Anderson, a lot of places. But the thing that was missing was a venture capital fund located in Houston to support the life sciences. And, you know, I was skeptical that, number one, that there would be enough companies, enough ideas just at the University of Arizona. But you've heard about just a handful of them. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Michael and Fletcher are on to something really big, and it's important because this is going to be a group that joins, Ventana Medical, now part of Roche, and the companies that Jim Wyatt was involved in, and of course Fletcher and Michael and Symphonia. This is going to be the start of something really big in Tucson. And it's going to take a little while, but this is absolutely required to invest in these ideas. And our job at the university, being a top 20 research university, is to discover fundamental knowledge. Fundamental new knowledge. You cannot translate that knowledge if you don't discover it in the first place, and then have the opportunity to translate those fundamental discoveries into commercializable products that will simply make the world a better place. That's the value proposition. On the student side, our job is to educate the next generation of students, and it's really to help them realize their hopes and dreams so they can go out and make the world a better place. So this is really a very straightforward proposition. And the one other thing is we are very proud that we're a top 20 veteran-serving university. So I'll give you some highlights here. You know, there's not enough time. I could literally talk for hours because every day I discover something new and special at the University of Arizona, and I'm only 5 years into this. So I'm hoping I'll be around a long time to see a lot of the things that are going to happen. But you're going to get these slides. Click on that link of this video. Maybe one of the most fun things I've ever done, certainly in my time here at the University of Arizona, is to be able to sit down with Marcia and George Reiki and to just talk to them about why the University of Arizona? What do you do? How did you get here? And just go watch this. It is well worth it. And they built instruments to go on to the James Webb Telescope, which is about 1 million miles up into away from Earth, and it really is replacing the Hubble telescope. And just to hear their story and all the things that they hope to see with galaxies and learn more about our universe. But Marcia, I think, is still true, is overall the most prolific funded professor at the University of Arizona. And she's just remarkable, and they're so cute. They walk across campus holding hands, have their little lunch pails with their lunch, and they sit beside each other and do science all day. I mean, does it get any better than that? This table can tell you more about this than I can, but I have gotten the word. I understand that this movement around quantum and Professor Saikat Gua is the principal investigator on this National Science Foundation. It says $26 million grant. I think it's actually closer to 50 when you run it out. But the College of Optical Science, sorry AP, I have to brag on them when, you know, it's all right. The College of Optical Science in this project is leading the way, and the junior collaborators in this are places like Harvard, MIT, Yale, and other places. But clearly, University of Arizona is leading this, and this is going to transform everybody's life. Think of it as an investment that the federal government made in the internet back in the late 70s, early 80s. This is a new investment that is going to change the way that cell phones work, the way that the internet works, the way that we do medicine. Every aspect of life is going to be changed by this quantum movement, particularly in the quantum networking. This one is hypersonics. This is something that we're very appreciative to the state for funding. This is a partnership between the engineering, aerospace engineering at University of Arizona and Raytheon going to the state to get funding to build an additional wind tunnel to test these projectiles. It's important not only because it provides economic development and jobs in the local economy, but it's a major significant advance for us in national security. China is way ahead of us in hypersonics. We and a couple other universities are the only ones that have these type of research facilities, and Governor Ducey was down recently, and he talked to all the students, undergrads, grad students, postdocs that were there. Why did you choose the University of Arizona? Because we could work and do our research in these hypersonic tunnels. And why does Raytheon and all the aerospace companies come? Because they have to test their equipment in these tunnels. So I'll go through COVID pretty quickly, no question about it. The wastewater-based epidemiology that Dr. Pepper did for us was clearly groundbreaking and led the nation, led the world, especially for universities or conjugate housing environments. But the test, trace, and treat approach that we took to COVID was one that worked for us. As Fletcher said, it allowed us to keep the university open and moving forward despite having large number of cases early on before there was a vaccine, which was somewhat frightening, of course. And then we vaccinated more than 250,000 individuals in southern Arizona as a state-sanctioned vaccination pod, and I cannot be more proud of the University of Arizona for everybody coming together. We don't always agree on things at the university. Actually, rarely do we all agree on anything. But around this, nobody nobody said we shouldn't do this. This was part of our land-grant mission and service to this community, so I'm really proud of that. You know, we can talk for a long time about the strategic plan and where we're headed. One of the things that I would say is, with all the talk about COVID, one of the things in our strategic plan before COVID that I was pushing for particularly was this idea. If you look back in medicine 25, 30 years ago, the big idea was mapping the human genome. I think if you look forward the next 25 to 50 years, the big idea is going to be mapping the human immunome. Right now, nobody has a test for anybody in this room to tell you how your immune system works. Now, we got things, so I can look at you and I can tell, you know, I can measure your T4 cells, your T8 helping cells, but it doesn't really tell about your immune function and how you can fight off infection, cancer. I think that almost every cancer that develops, most of the time, we all have them, probably once a month. I'm guessing at this. Now I'm making all this up. But we have cancers in our body frequently, and our immune cells find them and kill them. So almost by definition, if you have cancer, no matter if it's from an environmental factor like sunlight and you get skin cancer, or smoking and you get lung cancer, your immune system gets overwhelmed. So the idea of studying the human immunome is one that got some traction after the pandemic in our strategic plan, because we went back and looked at other opportunities we may have. And so the Center for Advanced Molecular and Immunotherapies is going to be developed, and Dr. Mike Dake, he finally listened to me, Fletcher, and thought that this was a good idea. So this center is going to be coming forward, and it's also funded. The startup costs are being funded by the New Economy Initiative by the legislature. So we're incredibly appreciative of that. But think about 4 areas in where your immune system helps. One is in cancer. The Nobel Prize for Cancer was given to Jim Allison about 5 or 6 years ago at MD Anderson for immunotherapies for cancer. The second area is around inflammation. Almost all cardiovascular disease and a lot of neurodegenerative diseases are a result of inflammation, which is immune-mediated. The third area is autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis or lupus, scleroderma, and also in this third category is the manipulation of one's immune system in organ transplantation. You have to suppress the immune system. And then the fourth area, of course, is infectious diseases, whether it be the next respiratory virus that's going to be coming along, or some form of bacteria that's antibody resistance. These are 4 areas that this new center is going to be very important for. So the last thing I would talk about is Tech Launch Arizona and all the things that are being processed through Tech Launch and our tech transfer. You've seen many examples here today of these companies that are going to hopefully stay here in Tucson and grow and create an ecosystem so that other companies will get the word that Arizona is the future state and you should come here and not stay in Texas or California, but come here. And we just opened another one of these innovation centers out at Biosphere 2. And there are a couple of startup companies out there that are really pushing the envelope. The Bridges is finally, Fletcher, the first Father's Day I was here. I started in May, and my sons came over from California, and we drove in from the airport, and they go, why is that sign there? Why isn't there anything there? I said, well, there's going to be something there. And, 5 years later, we got some things out there. So the refinery is going up. You've seen it. It's going to be great. And the place is going to take off and grow at the Bridges. This is just another example of a company that's doing incredible things around pulmonary diseases at the university. And then the last thing, I had heard that you, as a club, had invested in JTED. So I came with an idea, and again, Fletcher, nobody listened to me. You're the only one who really listens to me consistently. But I had this idea because one of the 59 institutions that I oversaw in Texas was this high school called the Michael E. DeBakey High School for the Health Sciences, and it was started at the Texas Medical Center by the legendary heart surgeon Michael E. DeBakey. And it was started in the 3rd Ward, a poor part of Houston that abutted the Texas Medical Center, and it was started as a high school to give those students the opportunity to get into the medical field, usually as a phlebotomist or an x-ray technician. And over the course of 50, 60 years, it's developed into the most sought-after high school in Houston if you want to go to medical school. We have an opportunity at the Bridges, or in that park, for JTED to have a new high school that is focused on the health sciences. And we just had a large contingency that went back to Houston, and we visited the Michael E. DeBakey High School, brand new building. When I was there, we raised a $100 million bond and built a brand new state-of-the-art high school that everybody from here in Tucson got to see. So the students would go to high school in the middle of the Texas Medical Center in the morning, and then in the afternoon they would walk and go to the labs at MD Anderson or Baylor or Rice or wherever. So I'm hoping that we're going to get enough money raised to be able to build a high school like that that will serve primarily South Tucson, but of course in 50 years is going to be the premier high school if you want to go to medical school. So I think I'm going to, this is a picture recently with Mayor Romero and a donor who came forward and was helping us out with thinking through what the options were for a new art museum at the University of Arizona. I've already covered that we have a great dance program in the C.V. Eller Dance Theater. We've got Centennial Hall that needs to be redone. And we have about $500 million target for the arts at the University of Arizona. And one of the things, obviously, these things like the School of Art is just renovated. Centennial Hall will be renovated soon. But building a brand new art museum and a new performing arts center is something that I think is going to be really important going forward, because the arts are so important to the university and the community. So with that, I'm going to stop. I don't know if I left enough time for questions, but let's get some questions.
I got the first one over here.
Yep.
Dr. Robbins, thanks for being here. Where does the U of A stand on the NCAA violations under Sean Miller?
Not guilty on all charges. Not guilty. No, so this thing has been going on. I've forgotten. It was in the first month or two. My cell phone rang, and it was 7 o'clock, and I was jumping out of the shower, and I saw it lighting up. And you go, Dr. Robbins? Yep. This is a field agent from the FBI in Phoenix. I just wanted to let you know we just arrested one of your assistant coaches, basketball coaches. And I said, I missed the class in medical school. What do I do now? Said, call your general counsel, have a good day, click. 5 years later, it's still going on. But we have a final date in August, and we will get our final sentence as to what we're going to get. Are we going to get another year of probation? Are we going to lose 2 scholarships for 3 years? You know, I'm told that we're probably going to have to pay 3% on our operating budget at the university fine to the NCAA. It's all outrageous. But I think we've been very cooperative and been nice to them, and we'll see what happens. But we should have resolution before kickoff of the first football game this fall.
Fantastic. We have Cindy Barber here.
Thank you, Dr. Robbins. Do you think it's been a loss to us to lose our hospital from the university standpoint, the UMC, University Medical Center?
Yeah, that's a very complicated and loaded question, but I'm gonna wade into it because we've got coffee coming. We got plenty. We got all afternoon. That's a very good question. So, if you look at any population under 1 million, and we're right there, right? To have an academic medical center, if you own your own hospital, is almost unheard of. I mean, you just can't, without being part of a system, and by being part of Banner, we're part of the 7th largest system in the country. You know, I inherited this arrangement. If I had it to do over, I would have probably sought a partner. Banner looks to me like a good partner, but I would have structured the deal maybe a little bit differently. But that's, you know, Thursday morning quarterbacking. That's way past Monday morning quarterbacking. But I would say that, as I understand it, at the point where the deal was done with Banner, is that our hospital was in dire straits within a couple of weeks of insolvency. And so, you know, for the university, it was a good thing to create the separate 501c3 to get the liability of the hospital off of the university's books, because, you know, as university presidents say, it's jocks and docs that get you in trouble really quickly. And the hospital, I mean, it can go south very quickly. And I think you saw it pre-COVID. It came back up because we did such a good job with COVID in the hospital working with Banner. So I think on balance, it's been a positive thing, but it's been tough not to be able to sustain it. So could we have done something with TMC? Could we have done something locally and not had Banner come into the market? And I think all those things were discussed. But on balance, I think it was a good thing because it solved a very acute problem. But still discussions. I think it's a 30-year agreement. We're 5 years into it, 6 years into it. We'll see how it plays out.
Oh, we're trying to get this. Do we have time for one more question? Does anybody have a question? Right here, sir.
You have a tremendous amount of technology that is very valuable. How do you protect it from the Chinese or whoever might be interested in stealing it?
Yeah. Well, I've become really good friends with those FBI people, you know, so we meet a lot. We stay up to date. Dr. Betsy Cantwell, Fletcher was on the search committee when we were looking for a new senior vice president for research, innovation, and impact, and we got a great person, Dr. Betsy Cantwell, who's leading this effort for us. And she and John O'Neill, who she spent most of her career in the national labs at Oak Ridge, Los Alamos, and Livermore. And John O'Neill came from Oak Ridge, and they're recruiting a couple of other people, but they are absolutely on top of this thing. And I was locking into a Zoom yesterday morning, and there was a guy who popped in, and I said, he's our chief information officer. And I said, I couldn't get into I was trying to get in, and I couldn't log in. It wouldn't let me in. He said, yeah, we have ramped up the process to protect because the Russians are very, very active right now. And they're trying to hack in. I mean, I think, you know, tens of thousands of attempts to hack into the U of A system every day. So we got to stay vigilant on that. We've got to continue to have educational efforts to warn people about the possibility of state-sponsored stealing of intellectual property. And so they're prime targets right there at that table because they want to steal all that stuff and take it away. So we're, you know, constantly being vigilant in education and just keeping on our toes. But it's tough, no doubt about it.
Dr. Robbins, thanks for that. Also appreciate your comments about polio. That is a major focus for Rotary. You'd probably be impressed to know that the largest fundraiser that occurs for that effort is done in Tucson, Arizona, as a tie-in to the El Tour. It's the Ride to End Polio, and with the Gates match, we've raised almost $60 million in Tucson, the largest single fundraiser that Rotary does for polio. So thank you. Dr. Robbins signed a great book. You'll love this one. Hats off to the back table for always picking out the right thing. Today's book that'll go in the Make Way for Books libraries. We work on literacy issues. A Letter from Your Teacher on the First Day of School. Bobby has signed that. Bobby, thank you for that. We do not have any birthdays today, but we do have a Paul Harris Fellow. I'm going to ask Scott to come up. Scott joined our club in September of 2001, classification retired, finance media, Arizona Public Media. He was our 88th president back in 9 and 10, and he's got a Paul Harris Fellow presentation to make.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. Wasn't that wonderful? Thank you, Dr. Robbins. Thank you, Fletcher. Appreciate you. Okay. Today we continue to work toward a world of peace and understanding as we present a Paul Harris Fellow plus 8 to our own Bob Ernstein. Stand up, Bob. After graduating from Michigan State in 1957, where he remained to manage hotels in Lansing and then in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then at the University of Maryland, he headed up their Center for Adult Education. Well, it was the University of Arizona that drew Bob and Shar Ernstein to Tucson in 1980. Yes, he became Billy Joe Varney's assistant director of the U of A Student Union. How many of us remember the Student Union, huh? Boy. And 5 years later, he became the director, and he remained in that role until his retirement in 1994. Bob joined our club in 1990. In fact, Billy Joe was his sponsor. Bob, we hold huge gratitude for your leadership at both the club level and the district level. Here, Bob served both on the club board of directors and on the board of our club foundation as well. And at the district, he co-chaired the annual conference no less than 5 times. And for 15 years, he chaired the Ambassadorial Scholar Program, sending 23 scholars abroad and hosting 20 scholars from other countries. And he's still in contact with about 20 of these scholars. And Bob, who was at your side showing the same spirit for service? Well, your wife, Shar, seemed equally committed to our work. And when you were asked what was your best Rotary moment, you responded, "The best was when my wife was made an honorary member of the Rotary Club of Tucson." You said her involvement in many ways exceeded your own. Well, her passing in 2019 was a great loss for all of us as well. Bob shares that he has 32 years involvement with Rotary and has given him unparalleled satisfaction, even though he participates in fewer of our activities, but he continues to support our club and to support Rotary International. And there's just a little more. You know, from time to time, we give shabby gifts to our honorees, and we have something very special. But it became more of a story in the last hour. Let me show you. Have a look at the shirt he's wearing. This shirt was made by the Catalina Rotary Club. And what we got him, not knowing he'd be wearing that and that he wears it all the damn time, it's a signature Rotary shirt that belonged to a former Rotarian, Tom Browning, who was instrumental in making these shirts in the Catalina Club. He never went to Catalina other than to make up for missing meetings here. And, well, we hope, we were going to describe this shirt as one of a kind, and we hope that you enjoy having a second one. All right? So, congratulations to Bob Ernstein, our next honoree.
One to wear, one for the cleaners, huh? So I'm going to welcome back up Bob Schaff with a special history moment for us.
It's time to honor a past president. Our club has been blessed over its 100 years of existence with 100 very remarkable presidents. Each of those presidents, both men and women, brought their personalities, their ideas, their expertise to our club and made it better. But of those 100, only a few could really be called great. And we're going to honor one of those today. we're going to honor Don Shropshire. So if we could go through a couple of things that made him great for our community, for our club, I'd like to have you just review with me. He was president of our club in 1993 to 94. He was president of Tucson Medical Center from 67 to 92. He was a man of the year, a father of the year. He was immersed in leading almost everything, every organization in Tucson. He was a bell ringer for our club at Salvation Army time, and a member, Dr. Robbins will appreciate this, he was a member of the Arizona Board of Regents from 1982 to 1990, serving as its president, and the University of Arizona's president, boss, as president in 1987 and 88. But he's best known for his Southern gentleman's charm, wrapped in a bow tie, sealed with a smile and a handshake, whose lifelong motto was to give back to our community. That's the definition of a great Rotarian, a great leader in Tucson, and we were very fortunate to have him as our president. Don died in 2015. He's been gone for quite a while, but his memory lives on. We've been lucky to capture some of the thoughts and ideas of our past, 35 of our past presidents in these videos. Roll that video on Don Shropshire, please.
I'm Don Shropshire. I served in 93, 94, and those were great times, and fortunately I was retired, but I found out I was working as hard with Rotary as I was at TMC. That's fun.
Becoming president is a task that none of us can prepare for. Being head of TMC gave you a certain set of skills, but when you became president of our club and had to run 52 meetings a year, what surprised you about that? What skills did it force you to learn that you didn't have when you became president?
Well, one of the things you better learn faster when you're president is your timing. How are you going to squeeze everything that everybody wants to do, including what you want to do, in a very short period of time, and have time for people to eat and enjoy each other? So that requires a bit of skill. I'll tell you, before I accepted the invitation to be a president, I went to Helen Middleton, who was our executive director at that time. I said, Helen, I don't know about your plans, but I've got to know if you're going to be here another year before I tell them if I'm going to be here. Helen said she assured me she'd be around. I said, Helen, I'm with you. So together we moved ahead.
Tell us about, you were president 16 years ago.
As well as nationally.
What were the issues that you faced during your year as club president? 93, 94, was there some things that had to get resolved in our club that you had to tackle?
Well, in looking back in the years and starting, it seemed to me that one of the things that we need to emphasize because of our mission was simply being aware of what our community is and what its needs are. If you're going to be of service, you've got to know your community. And being sure that we emphasize that was very, very important to me. And I thought that was good, and the programs did that, and our projects did that. And I hope that folks had as much fun as I did those years program as things go on. I can remember, for example, when I woke up one morning while I was president, and the Star had done a special feature on the salaries of people that were in either public places or not-for-profit places. How would you like to wake up in the morning and the Star had your salary and the value of all your benefits in the front page of the paper? So in meeting my Rotarians, I knew I'd get a real rousing that morning. I was prepared for that. So I indicated, there's such a good morning in Tucson. I hope we'd all have fun. And I thought one of the things that we would do to have fun, we'll all get up during the program today and tell each other how much money we made. Helpful to me in time. There were lots of good people. Till Tilton was on there. And Till was not only good with the drums, but he was good in taking care of projects. Now, Till took on the job of the Proyecto Amanecer, a project we had in Mexico. Now, that project started by the interest of Dr. Doug Lowell, a physician in town, who felt that we might be able to go to Mexico and do some things of special value to children, especially children, that would be appropriate to meet needs and certainly appropriate to the Rotary ideal. So he and I had some chats about that and decided it was worth bringing to Rotary. So Till took that on. Then he got in touch with Guard Pierce. Guard Pierce, former district governor, had connection with RI. So by golly, he went out and got us a matching grant so that we could take our club with a Rotary National grant and put together a team of physicians that involved university physicians, Tucson physicians, including Hugh Thompson in this project. And we have a team of people going to Mexico doing some very important medical corrections and helpfulness. I was very proud in those days.
What advice would you give a new Rotarian?
I don't think a person should be a Rotarian if they are not absolutely passionate about service. I believe that Rotary is built on the passion of individuals for their community and for the service and building of their community. So if they don't have that, they should not be a Rotarian. If they don't have that, they should not try to lead. Because you've got to, I think, inspire and show the value of that and the joy of that, and feeling that we're not just going to eat and meet, but we're going there because collectively people can do things together. And one's got to also feel like that they can be a team player and not an individual star. Because Rotary is, the things that we do well are the things that we do as groups. And I think that that would be something that anybody coming into Rotary should recognize and realize that you almost have to do what you're asked to do. Now, that's obviously one has to say occasionally to be practical. If you're accustomed to saying no, you never will get the full benefits of Rotary. You just won't. Because Rotary is a part of the bigger theme of each other, of the community and the world. So I do believe that that's an important frame of mind. I hope that when we're looking for members, that we will look for that trait, because I think that's a key to the success.
For all of us that had a chance to know Don Shropshire, we know the kind of guy he was. I kind of chuckle. My very first fine I ever got at Rotary was in 1993. I think I'd been around about a year or so, and Don fined me $500. Never even called, just fined me. And that was an interesting time because, as you guys know, you're supposed to get a call first. So we've got an auction. What do we got going on over there? Or not an auction, we have a raffle. Excuse me.
Yeah, I have a raffle. I got $40 to the winner. Pull out your tickets. I'm going to use my brand new reader glasses that were found on a table last week here at the Rotary Club. If you think I look good in them and they look like yours, come talk to me afterwards. Because they might be. 583-338 is your number, the winning number. I can't read with these, my gosh. Yeah, 583-338. Do we have a winner? Yes, we do.
Curtis Dawson.
And Dorina picked the winning card, so you can't trust Dorina. We can't. We're all in trouble. And she also picked this. It's a 2 of diamonds, so you get nothing more than just the money right here. All right, back to you.
Thank you. So it's time to hop into the Wall of Fame for fishing. So here you go. Here's all the people that have contributed this year, submitted pictures, fish, what have you. All the money that's been raised is going to go to the Boys and Girls Club deck project that we're trying to wrap up. The Boys and Girls Club, which, by the way, Dr. Robbins is the same club that closed its doors so they could focus on helping University Medical Center staff and Banner staff stay in business during the pandemic. So that's just some of the rules. There's only 7 opportunities left. Actually, there's not. There's only 2 opportunities left because we just sold 5 of them. And so I know you're wondering who is the big fish. You're going to be shocked. Big fish, check it out. It is Faye Morris. So this is our first vegan fish we've ever had presented. I just want to be clear about that. And it's definitely plant-based. We've talked about that. I want to tell you what's really cool about this. This is the biggest donation that we've gotten to our project at the Boys and Girls Club the Deck thing. Faye, Eric, thank you guys. What's going on tomorrow at 5:45? Time capsule. So here's our little thing on our time capsule. It'll be at 5:45 tomorrow. We probably won't do the actual ceremony until about 6 o'clock. It's going to be about a 10-minute ceremony. The rest of the time we'll spend just having fun. There you can see the amazing John McCaleb in a hole digging. And so there's the hole that John dug. There's what the hole looked like after he was done. And that's what the hole looks like with our time capsule in it. Thanks to Doc Crett for taking it, even though it's hermetically sealed. She wrapped it about a dozen times with stuff. It's been buried. And tomorrow we'll just be looking at something that's already there. So that's our plan. So it's really more about socializing and having some fun, some eat, some drinks. I've asked Fletcher to make some remarks then too as well. We've got a couple things coming up. Chris, did you want to talk about the Triangle Y project?
Sure. Triangle Y, it's April 30th. It's a great time, great work project. You get to hang out with Dave Gallagher and a bunch of other great folks. And there's wonderful food, and it's a good work project. Sign up on the website. And I'll get the next one too. Home Hospitality Week is the week of 4/24 through 4/30. You can go to the next slide. Oh, look at that. Bruce might be. Look at nice.
Sorry, Bruce.
Yeah, that's that's worth the cost of admission right now.
Yeah.
Hey guys, sign up for that. There's a list on your table of where you can sign up. The cutoff is noon on Friday, so please sign up before noon on Friday.
Hey, Chris, did you notice how Bruce all of a sudden matches his shirt?
He does.
I love that. Be careful what you post online. Your pal Irv's looking, and I'm going to grab it and do something else with it.
We'll be distributing that to email to all the members, along with the slides from Dr. Robbins.
One last really quick announcement. I want to let you know the Boys and Girls Club deck project. That site work will start next week. It's going to take about a work to do. Sunt's doing that for us. We've missed our deadline for planning, so we're going to have to wait a little while. Probably in August, we'll hop in and do the irrigation. And then it looks like on September 17th, which is a Saturday, you all get a love note about it. That's when we'll actually have the Rotary Work Day project there, where we'll actually plant the trees and spread the bark and all that kind of stuff. So that's coming along quite well. Just want to let you know that. So in closing, I just want to say, whether you joined us in person or you're here virtually, thank you for doing so. If you'd like some more information about the club, just ask anybody who's wearing a badge, and I'm sure they'll be glad to help you. If you do have a badge, please put it back in the right place when you leave. If you don't have your Rotary pin, we've already been through that. Go see Dorina or Carrie. Bob, congratulations on Paul Harris number 8. Fletcher, thank you for being a friend and also for supporting this club and being an honorary member. Bobby, what a great presentation. Thank you. Just always great to hear you. So next week is Home Hospitality Week. If you haven't signed up, the deadline has been extended to Friday. So hop on that. And now for our toast. John Maxwell once said, "The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The leader adjusts the sails." Here's to those amazing leaders like Bobby and Fletcher who know how to adjust and lead during tough times. Here we are adjourned.